A landmark ruling in a Michigan courtroom that could change the course of parenting. The mother of a teenager who killed 4 students at Oxford High School back in 2021 has now been convicted of not doing enough to prevent her son from conducting the mass shooting. Bill Malugin back live with the details on this. What really was a precedent-setting case, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely historic. These parents are the first parents in U.S. history to ever stand trial for a mass school shooting committed by their son. Today, Jennifer Crumbley, the mom of Oxford High School shooter Ethan Crumbley, was found guilty on 4 counts of involuntary manslaughter in this historic trial. Let's bring in criminal defense attorney and federal litigator Vikas Bajaj, along with psychiatrist Dr. Safai. I mean, it's fascinating here. I want to put this up because we had Mark Eiglarsh on Fox earlier today, Vic, and he said this. I want to see if you agree or disagree.
It's not the parents' school, it's the school. And they allowed him to return to the class. So obviously they didn't share the same concerns that the jury apparently thought the parents should have had.
So he's saying if the school is not being held liable, why should the parents be held liable? Do you agree with the decision or not, Vic?
Absolutely not. The criminal offenses in every state in the union require a union between the state of mind, what a person is thinking, and the act, what they do. A general liability couched in those terms is fatal. It will not hold water because there's no union of a mental state of mind which furthers the crime in direct comparison with an individual who knows or should have known of a specific danger but takes no action to prevent it. It's apples and oranges, Trace.
Yeah, it really is amazing, which brings us to Safai talking about the mental capacity of this. Jonathan Turley made this point today, Dr. Safai, and I'll get your take.
Quite frankly, it's troubling. You know, there are millions of families across this country that have children with emotional problems. And what was being declared here is that this mother had a reasonably foreseeable situation that her son would become a serial killer, would take off on a massacre.
So what they're saying, Dr. Safai, is kids with emotional problems, parents have to be able to foresee their troubles down the road. You deal with this all the time. Is that possible?
That's not accurate. You know, we can't predict the future. However, in this particular case, in this particular case, this child was exhibiting signs of mental illness. Instead of getting that child into treatment, this mother chose to put a gun in the child's hand. I mean, this should be a cautionary tale for all parents going forward. If your kid is showing signs of mental illness, it's not something you can ignore and look the other way. You need to get them into treatment. But however, you obviously cannot predict how a person's going to behave.
Yeah, and then I want to go on because this is the prosecutor, right, talking to Mrs. Crumbley. Watch.
Despite what you have called yourself as a vigilant parent and a helicopter mom, you never decided in at least November of 2021 to look at his phone.
No.
No. Okay.
So that what they're saying is, do you have to be able to look through your child's phone, Vic? I mean, can you? Are you obligated to look through your kid's phone to make sure that they are not doing anything nefarious?
Well, some states, primarily Wisconsin as the traditional example, have a crime of misprising of a felony. When you know of a crime, but you don't take an action to prevent it, as well as in the federal jurisdiction. No, you don't have to go through your child's cell phone, and I'm sure no one would appreciate that in the household. However, Trace, to be frank about it, you have an obligation to have common sense. And the problem here is that when your son is evidencing signs of wanting to hurt other people and having a firearm in their possession, and frankly, the testimony of the defendant mother in this case was so aloof and so careless that it's hard to imagine she really cared at the time the shooting took place. And she reiterated that with her testimony on the stand in front of the jury and judge.
Meantime, Jeffrey Schwartz, former criminal defense attorney and now law professor, said the following: my personal opinion is that in this scenario, now parents are going to have to worry about everything in their home that could be used as a weapon, that they're going to have to keep away from their kids even into when they become teenagers. It's a fair worry, Dr. Safai, because now you're, as a doctor, saying, oh, you can't have a baseball bat around, you can't have this. What do you make of that argument?
I know this case sets a strange precedent, and it's a slippery slope. I get it. don't think so, though. I think if your child is exhibiting signs of mental illness, maybe you should be on alert, but this is not the case with every teenager, right? So I would say to parents, if you see sudden changes in your child's behavior, if you notice irritability, anything out of the usual, you want to be more cautious, more vigilant. That's all. But no need to panic.
Yeah. Dr. Yalda Safai, Vikas Bajaj, good to see you both. Thank you.